Dear comrades, I'm talking to you from the besieged Gaza. My name is Ayah Bashir. I'm a BDS activist. I started working on the BDS issues since the first war on Gaza, which I witnessed, which was in 2008-2009. It was a very horrible experience for me and also for all the people here, as I'm sure you have read and you have spoke to people who witnessed this war. So it affected me personally very much. When I was a student in my last year, and I had that feeling during the 20 days of such continuous bombing and killing of people all around me and my building, my place, that I'm really very, very powerless, that I can't do anything. And I'm just waiting for my fate to be killed, or even to hear that my father or my mother or my brother or sister is the next victim. So I had that feeling that I really want to be an agent who really can make change, or who can even help in making change, or even to feel that I'm really powerful. So after the end of this war, a group of students, me and other colleagues, heard about it was for me for the first time to hear about the BDS call. So we tried to organize a committee which is called BSCABI, Palestinian Student Campaign for the Academic Boycott of Israel. And we started to meet. The number at first it was very, very small. We were around 4. And then the number has been increasing very, very quickly. We started, and until now, we are all volunteers. We are short in terms of resources, but we always try to work and to get in touch with other activists, BDS activists all around the world. So when we were students, we used to be in touch with some students from the UK, especially from the UK and from South Africa. And we used to exchange letters and video talks with them through Skype. Then we began to develop many activities here in Gaza to talk more about the BDS in the universities, to people in the street, to supermarkets, to civil society organizations. Because we wanted to raise the awareness about the BDS, about the boycott call, locally, not only internationally. And actually I think we have succeeded so far, because now the number of people who are really feeling that the boycott is an effective tool is really increasing. We did the Israeli Apartheid Week since 2009, and I remember the number was very few then comparing it with last year. So I think it's a very positive tool, that the BDS is a very positive tool, and it makes us feel that we are really powerful and that we are not left alone. Now, I always talk about my experience when I first left Gaza. Before I leave, I used to always speak to other students and other people that we are living in the largest open-air prison, as one of the, as many human rights organizations used to call Gaza. And I used to say that it's really inhumane to live in such a siege, but truly I didn't experience that what I'm saying until I left Gaza in 2010 in order to do my master's in the UK. And the first impression I got when I started to to get into Egypt through Rafah, that I start to feel that I'm really out of a prison, that there is a horizon, that I can see more spaces, not like in Gaza, everything is hugely populated, and what you see is just people and just buildings. So I start to see that there is really very big and wide horizons, and I realized that yes, I have lived the 22 years of my life in a prison, and I was asking myself, what was my crime? Who can tell me? I know that that in order to get in a prison you have to be a criminal. I don't know if it is you have to be, but at least what did I do in order to be left and kept in such a cage for all this time? And to my surprise, when I got into London, I felt that I'm really in another planet. And I was always telling myself that it's only for 1 year, because you will return again to Gaza, and then I was hoping that I will return and then the siege will be lifted, but unfortunately it wasn't lifted. I got back into Gaza and the situation got even worse. To tell you the truth, this 1 year in London was more important than the 22 years of all my life. What I've learned, what I've seen, all my views, I mean, have improved. I've met many people whom we really shared lots of common ideas. I felt that the siege is not only a physical siege, but it's more importantly, it's a mental siege. And after this year, I returned to Gaza, and because I wanted to, I didn't want to live outside. I felt that I always have a role inside Gaza. When I returned, the situation, as I said, wasn't that much improved. On the contrary, it was worse. But for 4 months, I was telling myself that no, the electricity tomorrow it will be okay, everything tomorrow will be okay, but it didn't happen. So day after day, the siege is just tightened, and the number of people who are dying because of the lack of medicine is also increasing. Even my father has always said that don't get ill in Gaza, because if you get ill, even from a very simple illness like a flu, you will have the risk of dying, and no one will ask about you. And as I'm talking to you right now, I know that there is someone's dying at Shifa Hospital, the central hospital in the Gaza Strip. And as I also talk to you now, I know that after some time I will go back to home, and there will be no electricity because since the closure of the tunnels between Egypt and Gaza, we have witnessed even more crisis regarding the electricity. The power plant has stopped working as usual, and I only have electricity for 8 hours a day, and in some places even it is less. So when I keep thinking about these things, I say, what is electricity? It's in every place, or people don't, I mean, they take it for granted that when you think of it, it's a very simple thing. You have a positive and negative, what we call it, it's just about, I mean, it's very simple that this kind of invention, what I mean, that this invention is very simple, but we are denied it, and lots of things depends on it actually. Even the sewage. Now, last week, there was the sewage flooded a main or a central neighborhood in Gaza City, and it's just because the shortage of fuel. And when I keep really thinking about it, I see that that we don't have even the minimum standards of human life. You are talking about electricity, you are talking about medicine, you are talking about getting ill and want treatment, you are talking about the freedom of movement. So people take it for granted. So why do I have to focus and to concentrate only in these things in my life? For example, the freedom of movement. When I hear that students got scholarships and they cannot go for it because Rafah crossing is closed. When I hear that people want cancer, they are suffering from cancer and they cannot go to Egypt or to Israel because of this siege. When I hear that we can really export, but we can't do it, the farmers can do it because of the siege. I myself can travel to see my friends or to do the work which I want to do. So this is what all people talk about, that I began to feel that I don't want to talk about Gaza in this way. That we have this image about Gaza, that poverty, unemployment, especially in 2012, for example, the unemployment rate among highly educated women has reached more than 40%, and this is very sad for me to hear. Concerning, let me return again to the freedom of movement. It was just last week I was supposed to go to Jordan to participate in a conference which is called as a part of a project called Palestinian Youth Together for Change. We are a group of Palestinian youths from the three regional parts in historic Palestine, from Gaza, West Bank, and 48. And we are in a project, in this project, in order to try to break the geographical division between these three parts, and to come together and try to discuss what can we do in order to make a change. And we were supposed to meet in Jordan. The 7 youth who were supposed to get out from Gaza and to go to Amman, all of us got our documents and we prepared our luggage and everything, and we went to Rafah crossing, and even we took leave from our work, and we were very enthusiastic that we will finally meet with these youth from these cities and from Palestine, and they are geographically they are very, very close to us, but we cannot actually meet in the same place or in Palestine, so we have to go to Amman. And even this, with all documents are prepared, wasn't possible, simply because Rafah crossing is closed. So we went there for 3 days, going and returning, and all our efforts were in vain. So we finally did it through the video conference. It wasn't easy for me to accept the idea that I am again in a prison. I am again can't get out.